I made my first $100,000 at the age of 38, but if I had followed the advice that I'm going to share in this video, I probably would have gotten there a lot sooner. If I could travel back in time, these are the 4 key lessons that I'd give to my younger self if I was going to start all over again from zero. Hey there, it's Jay Timms. I'm a former executive in Fortune 500 companies and an organizational psychologist. I went from being a dishwasher in a local steakhouse to a director in Fortune 500 companies. I've had the blessing of being a part of the development of thousands of leaders over the last 35 years. Listen, here is something that I have learned over the years and taught those that I've served. You will never become successful or make your desired amount of money in your career unless you understand these 4 powerful lessons. Just give me your full attention for the next 10 to 12 minutes, and I'm going to share my simple but powerful strategy that I learned in the past 35 years and actually put to the test and proved with statistical research in conjunction with Bellevue University in Nebraska. Whether you're watching this at the beginning of your career, you're trying harder to achieve financial freedom, or you're just trying to live the life that you wanted and you're confused as to where to start, I guarantee that this video will change your entire life. Just comment, "I'm ready," or like this video below. So let's get into it. I've always had a hunger to know why successful people are successful. I remember when I was younger, probably in my late 20s, I was in this car that we called the soup can. It literally was this piece of crap car that as I drove on rainy roads would get my pants wet because there was holes in the floorboards. I remember one summer I was pulled up to a stoplight, and as I was sitting there listening to this radio kind of tin out in the background, this car pulls up next to me. It was a brand new Corvette, and there was a guy that was about my age sitting in the driver's seat, and his stereo was just thump, thump, thumping while mine was going ting, ting, ting. And I looked at him, and the thought was, how on earth did he get to this place in his life already? And I was so ashamed and I was so frustrated. I shared a story in one of my other videos that around that time I was driving by McDonald's with my son in the back seat, and there was a sign out front advertising the McDonald's ice cream cones. And my son asked if we could stop and get one. And I made this really, really lame excuse about, we're late, can't do it. But the reality is that I was so far in the hole in the overdraft in my bank account that I knew that even with my next paycheck, I would barely make it to zero. I didn't have the money to be able to afford to buy my son a freaking ice cream cone. I felt worthless. I was so ashamed of my hourly management job, and I just so badly wanted to do something nice for my wife or take them on vacation or something with my family to prove that I wasn't the loser that I saw in the mirror. I think that hunger originally came from wishing that I was like the rich people so that I could finally feel worthy of being loved. But something shifted. I got pissed off. I was tired of not having money or freedom, so I began this insatiable search for the actual things that made people successful. I sat and met with amazing people and interviewed them. I read so many books. I bought the self-help tapes and played them in the car, and I spent a ton of money meeting with thought leaders, and I was just trying to figure this out. That's where I came up with the characteristics to success. I tested this for years and then finally did the collaborative study with Bellevue University and proved that my theory was correct. So here are the 4 characteristics that I wish I would have started in my 20s that will lead you to success. Characteristic number 1 is self-awareness. You perceive life completely differently than anybody else. And what happens is that as you go through life, you pick up little pieces and little habits based on your experiences, based on traumas, based on all of the things that you experience. And that creates a perspective. A lot of times people don't look at the way that perspective is negatively impacting the world around them. The way that they interact with people, the way that they interact with situations, it is all impacted by your perspective on life. I spent probably a good 20 years in therapy. From the time I was in my 20s to the time I was in my 40s, I went and saw counselors. I wanted to learn a little bit more about how I show up in this world. And like I said to you, I read books and I did all of that stuff. And it was simply because I wanted to know how I showed up in the world and how my internal representation impacted the world around me. Once I finally started to understand, this is a lifelong process. I'm in my 50s and I'm still not done understanding me, but I'm at that point now where I've got a pretty good bead on why I do things. And it allows me in every situation that I'm in to, and my wife hates this word, manipulate my behaviors so that it allows me to find success in relationships, in business, in conversations, in everything. So characteristic number 1 is self-awareness. Characteristic number 2 is humility. I actually don't enjoy doing these videos because a lot of times what I have to do is I have to talk about the things that I've done in my life, and it just makes me feel weird. I just literally, before I started shooting this video, I got a message from a friend who I haven't seen in a long time. We connected on LinkedIn and she's following me and stuff like that. She said, I am constantly amazed at, or I can't remember the exact wording, but something along the lines of, I'm constantly in awe of how you serve people and how you've done that your whole entire life. And I appreciate it, but it makes me go, yeah. The Olympics just finished, the 2024 Olympics in Paris. And you see those people when they win, they're just beating their chest and like, I'm number one, and all of that. No, they're not. Like, look, I have done some amazing things in this world. I get that, I understand, and I've been able to help a lot of people, but I have not done this on my own. Nobody has achieved success on their own. And when you walk out there going, this is me, I'm amazing, look how incredible I am, you're lying to yourself, frankly. Because what you're not doing is you're not looking at all of the people who have helped you get to that place. Be humble. Recognize that every success that you have in your life has not come just because of you. It has come because of the effort you've put in, for sure, and you're doing a great job. But there are tens, hundreds, thousands of people who have been there to support you the whole time. Find ways to bless those people and thank them for what they do. So, principle number 2, be humble. So, characteristic number 3 is integrity. Integrity is doing what you say you're going to do and sticking by your word, no matter what. I think a lot of times people put on this persona of they're trying to be something that they're actually not. And they think that when nobody's looking, they can actually stop doing it. I remember I was on a leadership retreat with some of my leaders, and we were going to Las Vegas. And, personally, I don't drink. I never have drank, and it's partly because of religious reasons, but it's also because, I like to be in control of my body and my mind. So we were going to Las Vegas, and this leader came up to me and said, so Jay, how many drinks are you going to have in Las Vegas? He knew I didn't drink. And I'm like, none. He said, come on, we're going to Vegas. Nobody will know. How many drinks are you going to have? And I said to him, Mark, my principles do not change based on location. If you want to be someone who builds trust, you have to have integrity. Trust is key to relationships, and relationships are key to success. So principle number 3 is integrity. Characteristic number 4 is being human. Now, being human, that's an interesting thing to say. What does that actually mean? Well, when you think about it, every single person in the world that you meet, whether it be, the person that cuts you off in traffic, whether it be the cashier at the grocery store, whether it be somebody you work with or somebody that you're in an intimate relationship with, every single person out there is just trying to do the best that they can with what they have. A lot of times we get frustrated with people because they either aren't meeting expectations or they're driving us nuts, or there's something about them that's just rubbing against us, and we get frustrated with them. What you have to recognize is that most people do not wake up in the morning thinking, how can I piss people off in the world? They're just, how can I get through today? So when you come up against someone who is rubbing you the wrong way, or is frustrating you, or is driving you nuts, recognize you have an opportunity in that moment to believe and remember the fact that this is a human being standing in front of you with feelings, with needs, with cares and desires. And you have the ability to build them up. It doesn't matter who they are. They are important and they need to feel that love from you. So listen, if you're serious about leveling up to achieve financial freedom and joining that top 1% club, a place where 99% of the people don't have access, your first step is to invest in learning leadership skills. I can help you build those skills from the ground up, covering everything from improving your communication to handling difficult people in tricky situations. With 35 years of business experience, I've helped thousands of employees, leaders, and individuals looking to up their game. If you're ready to invest in yourself, you can book a free one-on-one personal consultation with me. I'll guide you every step of the way, no matter where you're at. I just want to help. So click on the link in the description just to get started. Hope this video is worth it. Please share this video with anyone you think needs it. Make sure to follow me on LinkedIn and Instagram, and the links are in the description below. Love you all, and I'll see you in the next video. We'll talk soon.